What up, my dudes? Since last week I decided to do a get ready with me and some people wanted a story time, that's what we're gonna do today. Story time is gonna be about my first and last job. I'm not gonna say like where I worked because I don't want to get in trouble or whatever. The store was a chocolate shop in the outlet mall by where I live, and me and Abby ended up finding it at the same time. We went in one day, like the end of summer, and as soon as we were about to walk out, like we didn't have any money because we didn't have a job. We were about to walk out. We were pushing the door open when she goes, "Anybody looking for a job?" And we both whipped our head around like, "Fuck yes, please." Cause like I had been trying since like the second I turned 16 to look for a job, but since I was 16 and I didn't have any experience, no one would fucking hire me. So she gave us the application. We filled it out like that day, and then the week, because we went in on a Saturday, and then that Wednesday or so, Abby ended up calling me like, "Hey, I just went in to turn in my application." She said that we can go in together and do the interview on like Thursday or like the next day, I don't remember. But so we went in, we did the interview as like a group, and we instantly got the job. It was that simple. I guess she was desperate for people because everyone went off to college and like no one was working for her anymore. So we ended up getting the job, and our first day was like Labor Day weekend. It was like that Saturday, and it was pretty chill. It was a chocolate shop, for Christ's sake. Like it was gonna be chill. We didn't know how to do the cash registers, so all we had to do was stock. So we had to put up like chocolates and stuff, and like it was chill. It was simple. It was kind of packed, but it was really chill. Things weren't that bad at first. Like our manager was pretty chill. Not chill because she was a manager, but like she seemed like a normal human being. And then I think it was actually Labor Day week, like Labor Day. She didn't work at all that day, but it was me, Abby, and then two of the old coworkers. One of the old coworkers ended up like telling us to like watch out for our manager, and we were like, "What? Why?" And she was like she was so strict and stuff, and we didn't believe it because like, to be fair, she wasn't when we were there. So we were like, "Oh, okay." So we watched. We were like, okay, we were on guard for it. Like a week later, my brother ended up getting the job too because I told him about it. And then he quit, like not even a month in. He quit because he found a different job. And I swear to God, this woman ended up hating me because my brother quit. She has like a personal vendetta against me or some shit because this woman would not like stop attacking me. She would like be mad if we didn't do something like a very specific way. She would yell at us if we were behind the counter when no one was in the store, or if we didn't ask for emails, which I get it, but she like very badly wanted us to enforce that. Or if like we didn't try to persuade the shopper to buy something else, or if we never asked for their name, or like stuff like that. It was insane. She also had this like procedure we had to do when we greeted a customer. We would have to ask for their name and basically follow them around the store and make sure that they would buy something, and it was so pushy the way that she wanted us to like work. One day, I think it was like near the holiday, near Christmas time, we had these like boxes of just plain chocolate, and we would have them as add-ons, as like a way for the shopper to buy something else for like an extra $5 or something. So I think it was like a Saturday morning or something, and I was working, Abby was working, and I think our friend was working, and then our manager was also working with us. I was working as cashier, so I was checking out this family who only spoke Spanish. So me being a bilingual queen, I helped them and I was speaking to them in Spanish. And when they were checking out, I asked for their email and everything. The one damn thing that I forgot to do was ask them to buy a fucking box of chocolates for an extra $5. That's the only thing I forgot to do, which I had been doing for like the whole day. So I found it insane that as I was checking them out, I look up and I see my manager dead staring at me, and I was like, shit. So I was like, fuck, I know she's gonna want to talk to me after this. So I was helping the customer, I checked them out, I finished, and they left. And as soon as they leave, she comes behind the counter with me, acts like she's fixing the boxes that are there, and she's like, come into the back room with me. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. She's gonna fucking kill me. So as I'm walking out, I look at Abby and I'm like, fucking help me. And she was like, oh shit, shit's about to go down. As I'm going to the back room with her, I'm thinking, fuck, 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 fuck. So we get to the back and she's like, so this is the third time that I've seen you not ask this customer for an email. And I was like, excuse me? I've asked everyone for an email. I asked them when they were checking out. And she was like, oh really? I didn't hear you. I'm like, no, I did. I know I did. She didn't fucking hear me because it was in Spanish. So she's like, well, did you ask them for an add-on? And I was like, no, I forgot to do that. And she's like, see? And I was like, I'm sorry, I forgot. This is like the one time that I've forgotten to do that. And she goes, well, I've been watching you and you keep forgetting to do it a lot. What could I do to help you remember? And I was like, I'm not sure, like, I sometimes forget. I'm a human fucking being. I forgot to ask for an add-on. And she's like, well, we need to come up with a plan together so I can help you. And I was like, oh my fucking god. This wasn't the first time that she had pulled me aside to talk to me about this, but I was definitely the only person that she pulled aside ever to talk about this. So she ended up telling me, like, how can I help you? We need to come up with a plan, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I don't know. I really don't know. I just sometimes forget to ask for an add-on or for an email. Like, it's not that deep. And she pulls out this paper and a pen. She's like, well, we need to write it down, come up with a plan together. Write down, like, a plan that you could come up with to help you remember and help you, like, do your job better. And I was like, okay. She's like, what time does your shift end? I was like, 3:30. And she was like, well, you have 30 minutes left of your shift, and if I don't see you by the end of the day doing better, we're gonna have to talk again, and I'm probably gonna have to give you a warning. And I was like, is this bitch insane or something? Like, Jesus Christ, I forgot sometimes, and she's punishing me like this. And then she sits me down. She's like, you're gonna have to write down a plan as to how, like, you can help yourself better and, like, improve or whatever the fuck. And I was like, what the fuck? She basically put me in a fucking timeout because I forgot to ask a customer to add something onto their fucking purchase. Like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck? I fucking knew from that moment on that I was being targeted by this fucking woman. No one else had been, like, pushed about this. She also came at me because I didn't ask the customer's name. She was like, I also noticed you don't ask for their names. Like, why is that? I'm like, I sometimes forget. Like, that was my only fucking excuses. I forget because I needed her to get the fuck off my ass. My shift only had 30 minutes left, so I sat there for a good 20 fucking minutes writing bullshit answers just so I could leave for the next 10 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself sitting here. So that day I left at 3:30 and that was it. I fucking hated her. And she told me, this isn't a warning or anything. It's just something that we can come back to when you're having trouble again or something, and some other bullshit. So I was like, yeah, okay. That was just one of, like, many times she attacked me for something petty and human error, like most people do. The next time that she did something like that wasn't only to me. Black Friday. I had went in at like 10 in the morning, and like my two other coworkers had been working there since like 6 in the morning or something, and they had to leave. So I was stuck there with like 2 other coworkers. I don't remember, but it was us, and our manager wasn't working that day. Well, she wasn't working until 2:30, and I left at 3 or 4, around that time. I went into work that day, the day right after Thanksgiving, the day after a party, you know, like a normal human being. And I went in, my hair was curled. It was a little bit shorter than this, but my hair was curled in like a halfway like something like this, I'd say, like that, basically. And like the curls were kind of sticking out from the ponytail. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little crazy, but me and my friend like tried to fix it before she came in, and like I thought it looked fine. It didn't look the best, but it looked fine, right? So she ended up putting me as like the greeter. So like all I had to do was stand at the door with a basket of sample chocolates and then greet the person that came in and offer them a sample chocolate, and that was my job. That was it. That's all I had to do, and I was fine with that as long as my manager did not fucking bug me because she was a pain in the ass. And my manager ended up coming in. She went straight to the back like she always did, and when she came back out, she walked straight towards me, looked at me, and she was like, "Hi." Like she had this condescending tone to her whenever she talked to any of us, mostly me. I noticed it, but she would like she was like, "Hi," and I was like, "Hi," because like, bitch, I was done. I was done for the day. I was done with her shit. I was done with everyone's shit. I was tired as fuck. Like, bitch, don't bug me. So I was like, "Hi," and she was like, "So, your hair," and I was like, She was like, "It's a little hectic, isn't it?" And she ended up grabbing the basket away from me very slowly. She grabbed the basket, grabbed it to her, and she's like, and kept staring at me, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a little crazy. I tried to fix it in the back." And she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I can go to the bathroom if you'd like me to." And she's like, "That'd be great." Like I know. It probably wasn't that big of a deal, but the way she said it was so condescending and like so rude. And I came back and like fixed my hair, tried my best to like put water on it, like calm it the fuck down, because like it was okay, I'm gonna show you. It was like this, right? And now imagine my hair curled a little bit shorter, like right here, curled. There was hairs sticking up, just little hairs sticking up from outside the ponytail. No, I came back, I was like, "Hi," and then she was like, and like I could tell that she still wasn't okay with my hair, but I was like, this is the best I could fucking do. Oh, so that was like the first incident. And then she was always on my ass about like my time, like my shifts and stuff, mostly because on the weekends I couldn't work past 3 because my parents wouldn't let me. And then one day she ended up putting my schedule on a Saturday to leave at 7. And like, before she even sent out the schedule, like she texted it to all of us in a group chat. Before she sent it out, I had gone into the store to visit our friend. It was me and Abby. We went into the store to visit our friend that was working that day, just to fuck around. We knew our manager was working, but she was in the back, so we didn't like really care, and it wasn't like we were working, so it didn't matter. We went in and we said hi, we fucked around, and then we were gonna leave, and when we left, she sent us the schedule. I look at my time. On Saturday, I was working from 1 to 7 p.m. and I was like, hold up. I can't work past 3. So I texted her. I was like, "Hey, I think you made a mistake. I can't work past 3 on Saturdays, this and that. Like, my parents won't let me." And she sent me back, "But you were just in here." We went in. At 7 o'clock, we went to visit our friend. It was a Saturday. Like, I was hanging out with my friend on a Saturday. Like, the logic. So I was like, yeah, but I can't work past 3. Like, my parents want me to have time to socialize and, like, do homework and stuff. I could feel it through the tone of the text that she had sent. She was like, okay, so then she changed my schedule. Ever since then, like, she had been, like, on my ass about my like hours and stuff. So she's like, "Just tell me a set of hours that you can work throughout the week." And I told her, I was like, "There's not a set of hours that I could work specifically. I just can't work past 3 on the weekends. Like, that's the only rule my parents have. I can work in the weekdays any day. It's not that hard." A week later, after the whole thing with my hair on like Black Friday, like a week or so later, I think, I don't know, it was a weekend, it was me and my friend that were working. She sent us home early. We had been there the earliest, so we were the first ones to leave, right? and like there was a lot of people working that day for like not even a busy day. And she told us that we could leave early since there wasn't a lot of work and there was too many people working. So when we were leaving, she told me like, can I talk to you in the back alone? And I was like, okay. I didn't think much of it. I thought, oh god, this is gonna be about my fucking hours again. I don't want to deal with this. I ended up going to the back and I talked to her, and she looked at me and she looked at my hair again, and she was like, so your hair. And I was like, what the fuck is your problem with my hair? My hair wasn't even crazy that day. Like I think I had it curled at most. Like I get it, the general rule for a place that works with like food and stuff, like this place was a chocolate store, which was boxed, by the way, to have your hair up in a ponytail, but my hair was shorter than this, so I couldn't put it up in a ponytail. So the best that I could do was put it up in like a half thing to like keep it out of my face. Like that was as good as I was gonna get, and that's what I did. I think I had it curled. I don't remember what the hell was happening with my hair that day. But she looked at me, she looked at my hair, and she said, so your hair. And I looked at her and I was like, yeah. And she was like, you need to do something about it. You need to keep it out of your face, put it in a ponytail or whatever. Like if you can't put it in a ponytail, then put a headband on. Like it's unprofessional or something like that. Like you're the face that people see as soon as they walk in. And I was like, bitch, like, ugh, I hated this. So I just looked at her and I kept nodding and I was like, I didn't care. I know that's bad because like it's a job, but like she was a bitch. Like how are you gonna keep commenting about my hair, which wasn't even bad? That was just one of many of the times that she was a bitch. The real story here is why I got fired slash quit. Basically, my shifts were usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then the weekends. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'd work from 5:30 to 9:30. We closed at 9, but we needed time to like get all the shit like together, right? So she gave us 30 minutes extra to leave. So around that time, I'd work with Abby on Thursdays, and then on Tuesdays with like someone else. We'd close together. We'd have the exact same time. We'd close together. We'd do shit together. So like it was like a team effort or whatever. And that was mostly like on the seasons of holidays, I guess. Because like that's when it got busy, when it never did, really. It was an outlet mall. It was snowing outside. No one went to a fucking outlet mall at a chocolate store. That's besides the point. I'd close on Thursdays with Abby, which was so fine by me. It was great, honestly. We'd fuck around, like, but we would do our job. We would fuck around a lot. I will admit that. We did a lot of shit that we shouldn't have, but we did our job. Perfectly fine, by the way. The real complaint here. When we'd close, we'd have to take the, you know, money, the deposit, the fucking cash that we shouldn't have been handling. We'd have to take the cash from the register. I don't really remember, but we'd have to take the deposit and then take it to the bank. Keep in mind, I was 16, Abby was 17, but she still wasn't 18. There was no manager closing with us half of the time. We did question why the fuck we had to take money when we were 16 and 17. Like, we weren't manager, so. But we did it, because, you know, I didn't want to get fired. I needed a job. I needed money. The first time this woman made a big deal about this deposit was with my brother's, like, girlfriend at the time, who worked there with us. I don't know, something had happened with the deposit, like the cash. It was like over $1,000 that she had in the baggie that we had to take to the bank, and like apparently the bank didn't get it or something went wrong. So my manager ended up texting this girl like, hey, did you turn in the deposit? And my friend was like, yes, I did. And she's like, well, the bank didn't get it. Are you sure you didn't take it? Basically accusing her of robbing the money when she clearly had stated, like, dude, I turned it into the bank. I remember turning it into the bank. Ended up like checking her car, checking her house, and it had turned out that the bank just like put it into like the wrong day or something. It was the bank's fault in the first place, and she never ended up apologizing to this girl for initially accusing her of robbing, of stealing the money. So my friend ended up quitting. That was just one of two instances that had to do with this deposit. bullshit that we had to deal with. I closed on Thursdays with Abby. Me and Abby had the system of how we closed. I'd clean while Abby did all the cash register stuff, all the numbers and everything. That was our system. And then like after like the season, like the holidays ended, she changed our shifts around and I had to close by myself on Mondays and Tuesdays because I guess she trusted me, surprisingly. Either she trusted me or she was waiting for the day that I'd fuck up, because it happened, okay? So, the general rule of how people started their shifts was someone would come in at a specific time, and at the exact same time, the other person would leave, right? That's how sometimes shifts work. But not according to this manager. Most of the time on Tuesdays, I'd go in at 5:30 and my manager was supposed to leave at 5:30, so then I'd have the rest of the night by myself. No, it's not how this ever turned out. I would work from 5:30 to 9:30, like a normal human being. My manager would work from 9:30 in the morning to like 8:30 at night when I was supposed to be working by myself. Her schedule said 9:30 to 5:30. She was supposed to leave when I came in. And she did this a lot. She did this even like before I was working by myself. She did this when me and Abby like worked like together. But one day I ended up working, it was like a normal Tuesday. My shift was from 5:30 to 9:30 and she was supposed to leave at 5:30. And I knew she wasn't gonna leave at 5:30 because she never did. So it wasn't that much of a surprise. But I kept checking the time and it ended up being around like 8:40 and I was like, hold up, she still hasn't left. What the hell is going on? So, 10 minutes later, around like 8:50, I hear her in the back, like grabbing her stuff, and I'm like, thank God she's finally leaving. I had a like specific way of doing things when I closed, especially when I was by myself, because I always left at least 10 minutes before I had to close, like lock up the door to clean. I'd like mop the front, clean the counters, everything I had. So then at 9, I could close the cash register, which took the longest, and then do the stuff in the back, which is like computer stuff, put in the numbers and all that. So at 8:50, around 8:55, she finally decided to leave. And I was like, okay. So like as soon as she left, I like decided not even to clean. I was like, okay, might as well have to fucking wait until like 9 to like at least close the cash registers, like do it quick because I need to get out of here by 9:30. It was a fucking school night. I just wanted to go home and sleep. I quickly cleaned the counters and then I'd run to the door, lock it, and like do the cash register super fucking quick. Like my mind was everywhere. I probably missed a few stuff that I needed to do. I don't even remember. But I ran to the back. I had the baggie for the bank deposit that we needed to turn in, and like I put it down and then I started doing the computer stuff. And then when I finally had finished the computer stuff, I grabbed the little baggie and I was like, okay, and I checked my phone to see if my parents were there, and they said they were on their way. So I was like, okay. So I put my stuff down, I put my bag down, and I put the bank deposit on the table. And I was just on my phone, and then eventually my dad texted me like, oh, we're here. And like I grabbed everything, I turned off the light, and then I ran out. And then when I ran out, when you run out through the back door locks by itself. There's no outside handle, there's no way to open it. So there was no way I would possibly get back inside unless I had the key to the front door. So I'm halfway outside when I realize, holy shit, I left a fucking bank deposit on the back table. And I was like, fuck. I turned towards the store and I was like, there's no fucking way I'm getting back in there. I didn't have a key because I never opened and she didn't give us a key if we didn't open. So I was like, fuck. And I ran to my dad, I ran to the car, I ran to my dad and I was like, I left the bank deposit in the back and there's no way, there's nothing I can do now. My dad was like, can you text any of your coworkers in case any of them have a key? I'm like, well, they're all asleep. It's like fucking 10 o'clock. They're not gonna be able to come in and like open the door for me. And they're like, okay, well, who's opening tomorrow? And I was like, oh, I knew the guy that was opening tomorrow, the next day, but I also knew that this guy was super close to our manager, and he was the only person that we knew that liked our manager, who was friends with our manager. So I decided, okay, I need to text this guy and tell him that I left a paying deposit in the back. Maybe he can turn it in tomorrow. So that was the first responsible thing I could think of, was text the guy that was going to open the next day to let him know that he needed to turn in the paying deposit in the morning. I texted him around like 11 because I didn't have his number, and I never got a text back. I didn't get a text back that night, and I didn't get a text back that morning. So I was on edge for like half the day because of the paying deposit, and then I was just having a shitty day on top of it. I was having mental breakdowns left and right for like completely different reasons. So the next day was a Wednesday, and I was out with the Abbeys. When I was out with them, I get a text from my fucking manager, who wasn't even working that day at all. She didn't open, she didn't close, she wasn't working in the middle of the day, she had no business in knowing anything that happened besides the fact that she was a manager. I get a text from her, and she says, "Did you leave the paying deposit in the back last night?" And I was like, oh shit. So I tell her the truth. I was like, yes, but I told Robert to take it in the morning. And she was like, well, Robert isn't the manager. You shouldn't have texted him. You should have told me. Like, there is like time limits on bank deposits. And I was like, well, shit, I didn't fucking know. So she told me there would be consequences for me forgetting the deposit in the back. And I was like, well, shit. I thought she would at least give me a warning since this was like my first big error. But I was hoping I wouldn't like get fired. So the next time I worked was that following Monday, and that Monday, the guy that I knew had snitched on me because he was the only person that I told about that bank deposit, and the only person that would tell our manager about it. So he was supposed to open and then stay until 1:30, and then our friend was supposed to go in at 1:30 and leave at 5:30 when I went in. And I remember we had this group chat for our coworkers and like ex-coworkers. And I was texting in it that Monday, right before I went into work. And I don't remember what I said, but then my friend was like, oh, I'm not working right now. You're gonna close with And I was like, I thought he was supposed to open. And you were supposed to like leave when I came in. I'm supposed to close by myself today. And I knew in that fucking moment what had happened. My manager decided that I needed to be watched, which is like fine and dandy by me. I understood that I made a mistake, and I probably would have worked out better if I was working with someone and it wouldn't have happened. But she did not have to change the schedules around. I could have closed with my friend, but she decided, oh, would tell me if she did something wrong because I trust. So we're gonna make this so much more complicated than it needs to be and change the schedules around just so she doesn't close with her friend. And I was like, astounded by this. I ended up calling off that day, like an hour before my shift, which I know is shitty. I know I'm a shitty person. I know I did shitty shit too, but still, I was pissed. I was done with it. I couldn't handle it anymore. I ended up calling the guy that was working at that time. I was like, hey, I can't go in today. I have a school project. Like, I just got it last minute and it's due the next day. Like, I need to work on this because it's school. And he sounded confused, but for all he knew, this was the truth. He did not know that this was a lie. He did not know that I was lying to him. So he was like, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know this and that. And I was like, yeah, okay, bye. And that was it. 30 fucking minutes later, my manager calls me personally, and she's not working right now. So I look at my phone and I'm like, this fucking bitch. So I answer, I'm like, hello? And she's like, so, you can't come into work today? And I was like, no, I got a school project, like, it's due tomorrow, I can't come into work today, I need to focus on my school project. And she didn't know this was the lie. And the next thing she says to me is, oh yeah, I get it, we all have our responsibilities, but, you know, there's single mothers out there. And I was like, did this bitch compare me to a single mother? Is she basically saying that I need to put work before school? And I was like, And then she hits me with, we also need to talk about the deposit you left in the back last week. Like, there will be consequences for that. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. She's like, we'll talk tomorrow when you come in about the future of your employment. And I was like, is this bitch firing me right now? So I was like, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And she was like, okay, see you tomorrow. And I was like, yeah. I hung up, and I knew in that minute, I knew that second that she said that, I was like, I'm not going into work tomorrow. So the next day, I didn't even go into work. I was like, I didn't call off, I didn't do anything. I like completely forgot I had a fucking job at that point. That Thursday, she calls me during school, and I'm like, what the fuck does she want now? Everything she does and everything she did, everything she does leaves me in utter disbelief, to be honest. Because she knew I was in school. It was like fucking 1 o'clock. She knew I was in school. She knew I didn't get out of school until 3 p.m. every day. And she decides to call me during my passing period. Which I am so glad it was a passing period, because if it was during class, ooh, bitch! So I look at my phone and I just put it away. I don't even answer. I don't dare to call back ever again. And that was it. That was me basically getting fired / me quitting my job. I hope you guys liked this. I do want to do more story times because I have plenty. If you guys do like this, give it a like and subscribe so you can see more of my stupid story times where I blame other people for my mistakes. And I'll see you guys later, so peace out, my dudes.
City of El Paso, but the days get harder in November.